No double shot? Do the double shot. Show him the double shot. Oh, yeah. Do you guys like that? Do you like the double shot?
It's a little wide on your side, but
You can get up and zoom the camera in.
no, I can do it in edit.
Wow, checking in from the chat live from Italy, we have Randazzo Sam. Anyway, like he said. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. Today is Wednesday, August 28th, 2024. I am your host for the day. Sam, like I said, is still abroad. He'll be back next week, but today you have me.
He's abroad.
He's abroad. Michael Palazzolo. Friends call me Zolo. You're allowed to call me Zolo, too, if you'd like. For you, is he to my right for you? Yeah, he's to my right. To my right, we have the one, the only, Uncle Sam.
Hello.
And on the decks, on the ones and twos, as always, as Sam would say, jerking his own gherkin, we have Bruce Augustino, the tugboat, Venditti.
I was looking at the screen. Howdy.
What a fucking train wreck.
I got buttons to push
I don't
over
like
here,
that I
man.
can't see who's in the chat.
I can.
The double box.
The number, though. I can't see the number of
double
people
box.
in the chat. I used to be able to.
Let me check my phone. Let me see if you can on the phone.
Leon's here. Sam's here. Sarah's here.
Leon. Holy shit.
I guess that's all that matters when it's all said and done.
It tells me there's 8 right now.
It does. Okay, so you can see the number.
Yeah.
I don't like that I can't see the number on the YouTube, but who gives a shit? We have a lot to talk about, but first things first, I want to know how you guys are doing. How is your day? How is your week?
Great.
What's going on?
Love it.
I have cat problems, and I had to go to your neck of the woods to solve one of the cat problems.
Why?
You ever hear of a doctor named Dr. Bloom?
Where's she at?
It's a he. It's 5 Mile and Merriman.
No, the lady I went to is on Ann Arbor Road. Ann Arbor Road and something. It was a pet hospital.
Okay.
She's good too.
We're having this issue. So this is a specialist. It's a dermatologist, and Russell, Sarah's cat, keeps getting all these sores all over him, and he licks them, and it's bad. And people keep telling us, well, it might be cancer. All the cancer tests come back negative. Well, it might be an allergy. And now we took him to the specialist. That goes, I see allergies all the time. This is not an allergy. So we had to get him sedated and had to get some things sent out, and I don't know. I was just wondering if you had heard of this.
You got to put the cone on him so he doesn't lick himself.
He's really bad with the cone because he gets the cone off of him. So we have a cone on him that he can't take off, but it doesn't help. He still licks at the stitches, and it's a disaster.
Yep. That's how cats are, dude.
Anyways, what about work? How's work going this week? Do you guys still hate each other? Do you like each other? Does Bruce get anything done? Do you have any thoughts? Can you critique Uncle Sam's work? You guys work together. What are your thoughts?
I try to stay as far away from Bruce as possible.
Why? Because you'll
so I don't fucking kill him.
That is a straight up lie.
What?
That's a lie.
I don't try to stay away from you. You don't think so?
I don't think so. You were standing by me all day.
I must be doing a fucking good job. No, I'm just making sure you're doing the right job because you're kind of useless.
Yeah, we talked about the Lions, though.
Yeah, that's it, I guess. Anyway,
Dark Human, who may or may not
Bruce had to put down his family childhood pet, and I'm not talking about his dick either. His little dog. What was your dog's name?
Honey.
Honey?
Honey.
R.I.P.
It was
Honey.
a girl?
Yes.
Oh, R.I.P. Honey.
She was a good soldier.
She was.
Bruce's first, and his last, and his only.
Jesus Christ.
A jar of peanut butter and a dog.
Let's do a little football. We're going to keep it simple.
Bruce was sticking his pecker in a fucking jar of Jiffy peanut butter and letting Honey lick it off. But anyway,
we're gonna keep it really simple today. We're gonna talk there's so many transactions that are going on right now, so many trades that are going on right now, so many releases, practice squads getting finalized, injuries. We're just going to recap some of the big ones for 5 or 10 minutes, and then we're going to go right into the Lions. We're going to do the whole spectrum with the Lions, the practice squad, who was released, who wasn't released. We'll go over the 53
Who should be released.
Who should be released, according to Uncle Sam. We're going to have a little fun. Let's jump right in. I want to start in Pittsburgh because the Steelers were just here this weekend. Russell Wilson.
Got a lot of fucking comments to make today. Fucking asshole.
You said it's midnight there.
Yeah, you just better have me something really nice coming back from there. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Where are you guys staying in Rome, Sam? I'd like to hear.
He's awake. He should be zooming in right now. Is the real thing.
No, you don't want to rely on that European internet.
He crashes. He crashes. So what?
He'll get to us in the comments. Anyways, let's jump right in. I want to start in Pittsburgh. Russell Wilson was officially named the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers over Justin Fields.
Does that surprise anybody?
It sounds like it was closer than anything. I don't think it was. I just don't see it with Fields. Uncle Sam, you're not surprised? Go ahead.
No, not surprised.
Give me more than you're not surprised. Tell me why.
I'm just not so. Listen, you watched him in preseason. He hasn't progressed at all from the time he was in Chicago to here. He hasn't. In fact, I think he's regressed. I don't think he's taken that next step forward. And that's why he's backing him up.
I think that's fair. He had some highlights in the preseason. I feel like if he had the best grasp of the offense.
Yeah, he don't.
I just think this is a bad situation all around. I don't think either of these quarterbacks are good enough. I don't trust. They brought in a one Arthur Smith to revamp the scheme. I don't think I trust that. They lit it up against the Lions twos. I mean, they had 2 touchdown drives. They each had a touchdown drive against the Lions twos. But is that enough? Like, how are you going to fare against the Ravens defense? How are you going to fare against the Browns defense? I think this is just a daunting division for them. And Justin Fields was able to get away with a little bit in Chicago that he won't be able to get away with in this division. And Russ, I mean, God bless him.
Russ is a pro.
God bless him.
He'll put some nice numbers up this year. Mm-hmm. He will.
Well, moving forward, let's head over to the last unsorted. I want both of your opinions on this. Sam, if you want to chime in the chat, I want your opinion on this. The last unsorted quarterback situation is in Foxborough. It's in New England. I think things are very close between May and Brissett. Brissett got injured on Sunday night. They said he could have gone back in. Gerard Mayo says he knows who the quarterback is. He's going to name the starter tomorrow during the first official team meeting. Uncle Sam, who is he going to name as the starter?
I think Brissett should be the starter.
But who's he going to name as the starter?
I don't know.
What you think?
I have no idea. If he's smart, he runs with Brissett at least the first couple of games. And if he struggles, you yank him, go the rest of the way with May.
Bruce, do you have anything to add? Who do you think that the Patriots are going to name as the starter between Jacoby Brissett and Drake May?
Brissett's played a lot of football.
It's probably going to be Brissett, whatever the hell his name is. Only because he has the experience. Yeah,
right.
So
he's played a lot of football.
He was behind Tom, right? At one point.
Brissett,
behind a lot of
the year that Brady was suspended, it was Jimmy G who got injured, and then Brissett. Brissett won a game.
Right, so it's probably going to be him.
Not only that, he's been around the league now. It's not like he hasn't played football. He's played football.
He had a very serviceable year last year.
4 or 5 years.
He had a very good year last year.
Actually, pretty good last year.
Well, I'm going to take the counter to that. I think it's going to be Drake May. Mainly because you two both said Brissett, and for the fact I just want to banter with you guys, I'm going to say Drake May. I still think it's going to be Drake May, though. This is why. He closed the gap towards the end of camp. He made major strides, and he's making throws that I don't know Brissett can make. And if you're going to draft a guy at number 3, unless it's a detriment to you, if you're sitting him, I think you should play him. And I don't think this is a team. They're all so young. They're all so bad. I don't like their weapons. Their offensive line is serviceable, but not great. I think that's the next thing they need to address.
Their defense is going to be good. I don't think there's any question that their defense is going to be good.
Okay.
So that will keep them in games, but the offense will be so inept like it was last year that they're not going to be able to really contend in that division at all. They will finish last again.
And do you think that adding Drake May, or excuse me, not adding, but do you think if starting Drake May has a say in that, do you think that changes the subject at all? Do you think that makes things different?
I don't think you throw a guy in there that's not ready, and I don't think he's ready. Watching him play, he needs a lot more reps. I get that part of it, but that you need to do during the week at practice. You don't want to throw the kid out there, destroy his fucking confidence after he shits the bed hard, and then try to make up for it. So what do you do? You're going to start him at the beginning of the year. This kid's going to get fucking annihilated. Who do they play that first game of the year? Does anybody know?
I will tell you right
Who
now.
the Patriots play?
The Patriots, the first game of the year, play in Cincinnati.
There you go. They got to go to Cincinnati. Not an easy place to go to.
No.
And they're going to be fucking tested big time. They got 2 really good defensive ends. They're going to put a lot of pressure on them. So, you know, I think Brissett should be the starter, and May, if by week 3 or 4 and they're 0-4 or 0-5, 0-6, then you make the move.
What if they deem Drake May as ready before they get to 0-5 or 0-6?
Well, what do you think? Did you see him in the preseason?
I thought he looked really good in the last game. I thought he threw
the last game, but did you see? Remember the game before that?
In the camp, he was also bad as well.
Yes, he was dog shit in camp.
He was bad in camp.
He was dog shit at the practices, and then the game before the last game, he was dog shit in that game. He was not good.
So Sam chimed in the chat and said, I didn't see this, but apparently Robert Kraft said May has to start, no questions asked. And then Leon chimed in the chat and said Sal is a has-been.
Okay. Leon's a never will be.
Sam says, as much as head coach wants Jacoby to start, Kraft needs a W. Throw Drake to the Wolves. I think that's a great concept. I think that it's a Kraft W if May starts and looks good. But to Uncle Sam's point, what happens if May starts and looks bad?
If he starts and looks bad, then what do? You bench him and then put Brissett in? That's stupid, dude. That's stupid at that point.
Yeah, you would. If you start May, you would have to ride it out.
Unless you're going to do the Anthony Richardson to him and let him get fucking annihilated so you put him on IR, then that's a big waste of time.
Throw Jacoby out there until he looks absolutely terrible, and then you put Drake.
So I'm saying if Brissett goes out there and shits the bed hard, they go 0-3, 0-4, 0-5, then you pull them and fucking make the change then. You know? You gotta give the guy that's got the most experience the shot. You can't put a guy in there that doesn't have any fucking experience. You know. Oh, by the way, your boy Desmond Ridder just got cut today. Cut.
You hear that, Sam?
Cut.
I didn't even see
dog
that.
Shit.
I had no idea.
Fucking dog shit.
R.I.P. Desmond Ridder. So I think that
R.I.P. Desmond Ridder.
They're rolling with Clayton Tune to back up our boy Kyler Murray.
Yep.
Well, good for them. Keeping it going, let's head over to Dallas. The CeeDee deal got done. Highest paid receiver in league history. 4-year, $136 million extension. Uncle Sam, thoughts?
Well, I mean, the guy's the best receiver in football right now. You got to pay him.
Do you think he's better than Tyreek Hill? It's apples and oranges. It's one of the two of them.
Tyreek Hill is the most explosive player in the NFL. But I think Justin Jefferson's the best receiver in the NFL.
Okay.
It's just my opinion.
The best hands, maybe?
Who's that?
Justin Jefferson?
Oh, yeah. His hands are a lot better than Tyreek Hill's. Listen, Tyreek Hill's going to father his way right out of the NFL. He keeps going.
Bruce, do you have any thoughts before I go into this?
I've totally missed everything we were talking about.
Okay, so
I was responding to a message.
I think this is just the
Very
market. There's not much to talk about here. There's not much to talk about. It's CeeDee. It's top 3 receiver in the league. This is the market where it's at right now. The market it's the $34 million range.
Yeah, and Chase is going to make more than him.
Probably Chase.
He's going to have to.
Yeah,
he's going to have to.
A little bit higher,
yeah,
I would say.
A hair.
And honestly, I would rather have Jamar Chase when he's healthy. I'd rather have the Chase Burrow connection than the CeeDee Dak connection.
Well, anybody would rather have that.
Not everyone. We got 0 Cowboys fans.
Stupid. Whatever. There ain't no Cowboy fans anymore. Yeah. You know what? I was thinking about it. They signed Dalvin Cook today to back up Ezekiel Elliott and let that Dowdell kid go. Does that make any fucking sense?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Wait, who they cut?
That Dowdell kid?
They cut Rico Dowdell?
I believe so. I believe they cut him.
Because he's supposed to get the
No, I believe they cut him, and now fucking they brought Dalvin Cook in to be his fucking backup, dude.
No, they didn't cut Dowdell, but they did sign Dalvin Cook.
And he's the number 2 guy on their fucking roster.
So he's on the practice squad, but he hypothetically could be raised up. He could be raised up by week one.
Why do you sign a guy?
I'm happy you brought him up because I think Dowdell is going to get the lion's share of the snaps. I think he's going to get the bulk of the snaps.
He better, because I don't know how much Zeke's got left in him. You know.
Fair. Let's keep it going. Staying with the wide receivers, Jamar Chase. So he wasn't showing up for a while. He started showing up to practice as recently as Sunday. He practiced Monday as well. Well, guess what? Today, 2 days after CeeDee got his deal, guess who wasn't at practice? Jamar Chase. What happens there?
You got to sign him.
Well, they're gonna sign him, but
they already said he's playing.
They said he's playing, but that doesn't. I mean, he gets a say in him playing. He didn't show up to practice today.
Correct.
So, do you think he's playing? Do you think he will be there week 1 against the
I
Patriots?
think they'll have something done before then.
I don't think they're going to get a deal done. I don't think they're going to get a deal done because
he still has 2 years left on his deal.
Exactly. They hold the cards on Jamar Chase. The Bengals are the ones that
Chase is smart. He plays. He's going to get paid regardless. This isn't like we're talking about fucking what's his name? We're not talking about Allen Robinson here. We're talking about a fucking premier receiver in the NFL. And he's gonna get paid.
You're gonna piss off a lot of Detroit fans here.
Why is that?
Because of what you just said.
I don't give a fuck. Allen Robinson's dog. How about that? Dog shit. Go ahead. He hasn't been good since he's been at Penn State. Go ahead.
Wait, didn't he have a good year somewhere? He had a
Penn
good
State.
year. No, Jacksonville. He had
Penn
a good
State.
year in Jacksonville, I thought.
Yeah, a good year at Penn State.
I think he had one or two good pro
decade
years.
ago.
Listen, you have to pay these guys. It's just the market. Jamar Chase is an interesting case because
the longer you wait, the more you pay.
Yeah, honestly.
That's it in a nutshell.
All
these people that ho-hum and all that bullshit, the longer you wait, the more money you're going to pay. So guess what? It's like you just got to grab it like a Band-Aid and rip it off. Because if you fucking sit there and you play games, it's going to cost you more money in the long run.
So just piggybacking off of that, Jamar Chase shows up. He plays a game, lights it up. 120 yards, 9 catches, 2 TDs. Happens again. I mean, of course, the counter to that is he gets injured, but it seems that guys that get injured are getting taken care of these days. Injured guys are getting their contracts. But the longer you wait, like you have the blueprint now. The blueprint is CeeDee Lamb. There's no reason why you can't get it done. Or you come up with a compromise where you up his guaranteed money for this season, and then you prorate a contract down the road. I don't think it's smart to wait because this guy is a little finicky, and I think it goes
you know
without
what
saying.
though, I understand why they're waiting, and I get that they want to wait one more year, and he's got 2 years left to play on this contract. So you get into your last year, actually the ball is in his court then. So he needs to just chill. Just chill, let it play out. Get in there, just practice, play, and show everybody the reason why you're worth the most money in the NFL.
There's a theory now. So Zach Taylor was the one that came out and said, "Oh, we expect him week 1," and this was after he was practicing. And Zach Taylor came out and said, I spoke too soon and we'll take it day by day. He literally just said this. And
Zach Taylor, to me right now, is as good as Nick Sirianni. Okay? That's all I'm going to say.
Moving on. On that note, let's just recap the rest of the big three are still Brandon Ayuk, Trent Williams, Hassan Reddick. None of the three have reported. The 49ers think that so Ayuk has been cleared to practice.
Okay.
And he just still hasn't shown up. He's been there. He's been at all these practices. He's holding in, meaning he's there, but he's not practicing. We're a week later. We've been doing this for a month and a half now.
Who cares? Let him not practice. Who cares?
No, but play. Where is he going to play?
Who cares? He's going to be a fucking 49er. He's not going anywhere. If he was going somewhere, he'd have been dealt already.
Okay.
I think. No?
I think the way it is.
Or do you
now,
think next week before the fucking season starts he gets dealt?
I think that no, it would happen right now.
Right.
It would happen right now because he needs to make it to said other team to learn their system, learn their playbook, and get cleared. So it's not looking good for him right now. A couple minutes ago, San Francisco paper is reporting 49ers are hoping to get Ayuk, and he will join the team soon. That's what they're saying. He's been cleared. That's all. That's all I know.
Well, good for him.
Moving forward.
I hope a lot of other guys fucking.
Oh, by the way, still no
out.
Trent Williams, still no Hassan Reddick. Sticking with some wide receiver news, former first-round pick Jahan Dotson of the Washington Commanders was traded to the Eagles with a fifth-round pick in exchange for a third. Move the needle for you at all?
Well, I mean, I didn't think Dotson was a bad player. I'm kind of shocked that they fucking dealt him, to be honest with you.
I don't really care. I don't think he's really done much. Maybe he's good as a third wide receiver. He'll never live up to first-round talent, but maybe he's good sitting behind.
He was
A.J.
pretty
Brown
good
and
playing
Devontae
next to McLaurin.
He didn't.
Their issues weren't the issues of their team. Was their offensive line was putrid. Sam Howell was sacked 70 fucking times last year.
Maybe, but he still was up there in TD passes, and there was still some production towards the end of the year. And this is carried over into this year with Jaden Daniels. This is carried over.
Yeah.
Dotson just never emerged. I don't know. It's as a third receiver.
So what happens when you got young players that come into a dysfunctional situation, and it kind of crushes their confidence? I'll give you one right from the rip. Trent Richardson. When Trent Richardson was drafted by the Cleveland Browns, his first year, he had a fucking decent year. And he was a goddamn monster. And then all of a sudden, they fucking traded him to the Colts. And it fucking destroyed that kid. It destroyed him mentally. Not a physical thing, it's a mental thing.
That was a big trade at the time.
Yeah.
Breaking news from Adam Schefter. 49ers GM John Lynch said he expects hold-in wide receiver Brandon Ayuk to practice today. Asked what happens if he doesn't, Lynch replied, then we'll deal with that.
Good. Hopefully he doesn't show up. Hopefully he's disgruntled all fucking till goddamn week 7.
Anyways.
Yeah. Where's our buddy in there? Where's fucking
Dark Lumen.
What's his name?
Dark Lumen.
Yeah, where's that asshole at?
Not here.
Okay. Dark Lumen, that's for you. Hopefully the
Absent.
49ers, their whole team fucking sits in.
Sam says he loved the Dotson trade, and he's the best 3 receiver Philly has had in a long time, and he's going to open things up for Devontae Smith.
Probably.
He also said that Uncle Sam has a little bit of Aaron Rodgers schlup in his beard. Is that schlup?
Anyway.
Just felt like you needed to see that or hear that.
Yeah. Anyway.
Moving on.
Put your little fucking camera on you, too. The other one, asshole.
Why is it going to be on me if I'm just sitting here quiet?
I just want it there so people can see how fucking ripped you are and how stupid you are.
How ripped and stupid I am?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Put it
They
on.
already saw me. When I talk,
See what I'm talking about?
When I
want
talk,
a
I'll
quad
go on.
box when Sam comes back.
I mean, it feels like I'm in the room with you guys at work.
I want a quad box when Sam
You a
comes
quad
back.
No,
box.
it's a lot
All
worse.
our friends, Scotty
All
Hansen.
four of us
actually,
get our
it's
own
not
box.
worse.
Huh?
This is actually worse than work.
Anyway.
Another first-round pick that maybe didn't pan out so well from a similar draft year. I believe this is from 2022. Vikings first-round pick Lewis Sine. They released him yesterday. He signed with the Jets. He's going to be on the Jets' active roster. It's interesting to me because the Vikings used that first-round pick. The Lions traded with them to grab Jamison Williams, and then they countered using this pick on Lewis Sine. So another first-round pick that didn't necessarily pan out. Do you have any thoughts? You want to add anything? He's going to your Jets? No?
What do you think?
You could put lipstick on a pig?
Well, here's the thing. You got Robert Saleh, Ahmad Bob, or whatever you fucking call him. He should be able to work with these defensive guys. So, and these former Georgia players, the talent's there. The talent's there. You just got to put them in the best position to win.
Moving forward, we have the Titans. Their former quarterback, Malik Willis, was traded to the Packers. What are your thoughts?
Why? Why would they want Malik Willis?
Quarterback depth. I don't know.
Oh,
Gonna back up Jordan
depth?
Love.
Depth?
Yeah, I don't know what their depth chart looks like,
Oh,
but
okay.
let's take a look real quick.
I just don't see that. Malik Willis is not.
It's depth.
You know what you need to do with him? Make him a fucking running back or something.
He's the only other quarterback on the roster. So God forbid something happens to Jordan Love. That's what you're stuck with is Malik Willis.
Well, there you go. You don't have to worry then.
It's good news for me.
Yeah.
And then the Chiefs released Kadarius Toney, and they countered also.
Gee,
by
big
saying
surprise.
He had 2 rings out of his tenure there. He's a back-to-back Super Bowl
2
champion.
rings and fucking 14 drops.
And they signed Juju Smith-Schuster.
Just in the Super Bowl.
Juju Smith-Schuster's back after being released by the
Well,
Patriots.
you know why? Because Schuster knows if he wants to stay in the fucking league, he better stay there.
I mean, he's wide receiver therefore?
It doesn't matter.
It's
He can be
Rashid
wide receiver
Rice,
6.
Xavier Worthy. Don't I have someone else there? Sky Moore. Am I making that up?
I will say this. I don't know who's a bigger waste of fucking talent, him or Sky Moore.
Who, Juju or Sky Moore?
No,
Or Tony.
Kadarius Toney.
Elijah Mitchell has been placed on season-ending IR for the 49ers. So Christian McCaffrey's backup is now, let me look. I don't know. I think that's a big hit because Elijah Mitchell's always there. He plays well. He plays well when he's called upon. So it's interesting. Their running backs right now, Jordan Mason, Isaac Garundo, and then good old Patrick Taylor Jr. from the Packers. Any thoughts there?
No.
Another running back on season-ending IR is A.J. Dillon from the Packers.
This was kind of weird because he had that stinger last year that kept him out of all them games.
Mm-hmm.
And now I think it's something a little more serious than what they expected last year.
Maybe.
I think they found out some more shit, and that's why they did what they did.
Maybe.
To cover their ass.
It was a neck injury.
To cover their ass.
It was a neck injury.
Yeah.
So there's a reason behind it.
Yeah, but he had that stinger all last year. And I'll bet you there was more than a fucking stinger going on there.
So the backup there for those of you fantasy nerds is Marshawn Lloyd, who they drafted in the third. Great running back from USC, by the way. He was probably a top 5 to 10 running back in this draft, depending who you ask. I wouldn't be shocked. Of course, it's Josh Jacobs, number 1. I wouldn't be shocked if we see a little bit of Marshawn Lloyd. I would not be shocked.
Well, they got to have somebody there to fucking spell Jacobs.
Because, and Jacobs is good, but he's also inconsistent, in my opinion. Didn't you have Josh Jacobs last year?
Jacobs is a monster, dude.
I'm not saying he's not, but he's inconsistent. Some games he'll show up.
He also played on a team that was very, very fucking inconsistent.
Careful, those are your Raiders, not mine.
Listen to me, dude. They were inconsistent last year. As soon as they got rid of their coach, they turned a corner. So, what needs to be said?
Backtracking on the Jahan Dotson thing really quick, one of the big receiver names that was released, and something had to give with the Houston Texans because they have so many receivers. Noah Brown was released, and then he has signed with the Commanders in the last couple minutes.
Oh, wow. That was quick.
Yeah, he got released yesterday.
They snatched him up.
Then another one, Zay Jones, is suspended 4 games. Where is he, by the way? Zay Jones is in Jacksonville, right? Suspended 4 games for violating the personal conduct policy. And sticking on that note, I wanted to get into something going on with the Los Angeles Rams. Left tackle Alaric Jackson was also suspended, I think 2 games for violating the personal conduct policy. Rob Habenstein, their right tackle, may be out week 1 with a foot injury, and they just traded their best linebacker, Ernest Jones, to the Tennessee Titans yesterday in a pick swap. It was a big trade. Interesting.
What did they get for Ernest Jones?
They pick swapped. So they sent Ernest Jones in a 6th, and I believe they got back a 5th. Yeah, it's just a swap and then a body.
I actually think that fucking Tennessee come out on top on that. Why would you trade your best linebacker out of there?
So that's a bigger picture conversation on the Titans because they spent a lot of resources revamping their defense. They obviously signed Justin Simmons recently. They signed former Lion Quandre Diggs, former Pro Bowler. They traded for L'Jarius Sneed. So maybe that defense, they could be, if Will Levis is good, they could easily be a sleeper. Easily.
Yeah.
Remains to be seen, right? But who knows? It's they've spent resources on their defense, and I think if they have a serviceable defense, that division's so
What
intriguing.
about the running back room? What does that look like
It's
now?
Tajay Spears and then Tony Pollard. And I thought Tajay Spears was
who's
very
the other
good.
back that they had there too that catches all the fucking passes?
That's Tajay
the
Spears.
fullback. No,
fullback.
It wasn't Spears.
Here, let me look real quick. But on top of that, they obviously signed Tyler Boyd. They got Ridley in the offseason. They still have DeAndre Hopkins.
But you said he's hurt. He's not going to start the season.
Hopkins is injured. He might miss week 1. I'm not seeing a fullback on here, unfortunately.
Well, he's either a running back or a fullback.
Julius Chestnut.
No, that's not him.
Oh, they also still have Treylon Burks, by the way.
No.
So Ridley, Hopkins, Boyd, and then Burks, Jaquan Jackson, whoever the hell that is. Yeah, I don't know. I think that could be a very serviceable team, in my opinion. Moving forward, the Rams, they got a lot of injuries. They might be short 2 starting offensive linemen week 1. When they come to...
That's a good thing, no?
When they come to...
Ford Field.
Yep. We're going to finish this show. Even though we're only 35 minutes in, we're going to finish this show over the next X or so minutes talking about our Detroit Lions. Because the roster is pretty much finalized. They've made their cuts. They have a practice squad. I think we start with going over the roster. There are some surprises, in my opinion. We'll go position by position and break everything down. What do you think?
Yeah.
Starting with quarterback, the obvious one is Jared Goff, of course. We knew Hendon Hooker was making the team. It depended in what capacity. But the small surprise is that they did not keep 3 quarterbacks. They did not keep Nate Sudfeld. Not only did they not keep Nate Sudfeld, they cut him. And not only did they cut Nate Sudfeld, but in the middle of camp, the practice that I went to was Jake Fromm's first practice. They love what they saw so much from Jake Fromm that they signed him to the practice squad. Do you have any thoughts on that? Keeping Fromm over Sudfeld?
Well, because I think Fromm showed that he's more poised and has played more football than Sudfeld.
I think as a passer, Fromm is just better. And he didn't get many preseason reps, but what reps he did get, he looked comfortable in.
Yeah, tell me he didn't look comfortable being there.
Yeah. I think the beat writers, if you go through and look at a lot of roster predictions for the Lions, a lot of people went through and predicted them with 3 because people were deterred by what Campbell was saying. It was quotes like Sudfeld just has a better grasp of the offense right now. You know, you want to keep 3 guys. And he had all these comments. I truly believe that Hendon Hooker went out there on Saturday against the Steelers, and I think he went out and grabbed it by the balls and proved to them, hey, don't waste a roster slot on a third quarterback. I'm your guy. And if something happens, there's this emergency third quarterback situation on the practice squad, you have Fromm, who look comfortable and can make throws. And Fromm's played in some big games. He's played in pro games. He played in the SEC, played at Georgia, played in a national championship game. So I love this move. I think it cleared up a roster spot. I do think Hooker has a lot to work on, but could be serviceable in the event that he gets called upon if something happens with Goff. Because at a minimum, if you have legs in this league, you can run an offense serviceably.
Right.
Running back, not much of a surprise here. They went with 4. It was the 4 we thought. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Craig Reynolds, Sione Vaki. Just backtracking a little bit, the practice squad, they did keep 1 running back. It was Jermar Jefferson. So no Zonovan Knight, no Jake Funk, who I thought had a good back half of the preseason. Jermar Jefferson is the guy that they're going to call upon if things happen. Do you have any thoughts on the running back room?
Well, I mean, I'm not worried. The only thing I'm worried about is the hamstring.
Gibbs.
Yeah, he's the only guy I'm worried about. Because I know how them hamstring issues can happen, and you know what happens with that.
The chance of re-injuring
only
a hamstring
thing
is
that
high.
I don't like.
There's they say the percentage, pending on the grade, is anywhere from 10 to 25% chance of re-injuring. By the way, all these guys, the Lions had a full practice on Monday. I believe they have one tomorrow as well after all these cuts. Everyone that has been injured practice on Monday except for Efetu Melifonwu. I don't know what's going on with him. But all of these guys are around. Melifonwu, by the way, got injured in the game on Saturday, if I remember correctly. I don't even know what his injury is. We'll get to that later. Not the point. Moving on to wide receiver, the biggest talking point over the last couple months, in my opinion, and I said it going back to free agency, the biggest hole in the team is they needed an X wide receiver. This is what they went with at wide receiver. They picked 4 guys. We knew 3 of the 4. I think we were all in lockstep on who was going to get cut, and they all did get cut. The 4th wide receiver I'm happy to report is Isaiah Williams. They kept him.
He earned it.
He earned it. He looked good. Undrafted free agent. I didn't know this. Him and J-Mo were friends growing up. They both went to separate Catholic schools in St. Louis and played wide receiver around the same time. But Isaiah Williams, I think, is the real deal. I think he could be very serviceable as a kick returner. The problem is, we've talked about this before, his pass catching doppelganger, if you will, is Khalif Raymond. I don't think he unseats any of Raymond's reps because Raymond's always going to be on the field.
Here's going to be the good thing with him. If something happens to St. Brown, he's fucking missed some time. You could throw that kid into the slot, and I don't think you're losing much.
Yeah, it's hard to replace.
You obviously don't have St. Brown's tenacity and his will to win, but you have somebody physically able to take his spot.
It's hard to replace St. Brown, but yeah, I mean, you have possession receivers on
Correct.
the roster. But
you could use you can use him and Raymond in that
and
spot.
Williams.
Correct.
It works out. And piggybacking off of that, while I have you all here, they've made some moves. If anyone follows me on Twitter, every time I saw a receiver get released, Terrace Marshall the other day, but the big one for me was Tim Patrick. The Lions signed Tim Patrick to the practice squad. They have an option to boost him week 1 once he learns the offense. I don't think he's going to be there week 1. I wouldn't be surprised as soon as they get an injury, if a guy goes down on IR after week 1, God forbid, I would not be surprised to see Tim Patrick. They signed Tim Patrick, who is outstanding. He's 6'4". When he's healthy, he's very good. And he had a really good preseason. It makes you wonder why he was released. But he had a very good preseason, a rapport with Bo Nix. And I'm excited about Tim Patrick. I think he's exactly what they need.
The problem with Tim Patrick is this. His injury history is fucking abysmal. And I think that's what really fucking keeps people away from him.
Maybe. So agreed. The injury history is bad, and that does keep people away. Agreed on both fronts. Yeah.
But if we only need him to catch 30, 40 balls, what the fuck?
That's a great.
You gotta roll the fucking dice.
Thank you. I see him eventually maybe getting 3 to 5 targets a day, or a game, max. He's going to be money in the red zone.
Sorry.
He's going to be money in the red zone because he's 6'4", so he gives you another option in the red zone to throw jump balls up to. And he's a guy that if you're going 4 wide receiver sets, you have Amon-Ra out there. Let's say you throw Gibbs in the spot. Laporta's out there. J-Mo's out there. You could throw Tim Patrick out there, and he's going to have a mismatch. You can't cover him. There's no one big enough to cover him. So if he gets one-on-one with a guy and you throw a sideline out to him or you find him in the back of the end zone, this is a good gig, in my opinion. They also brought in Allen Robinson. Same drill. This is a guy that can emerge as the X wide receiver. He's from here, Orchard Lake St. Mary's, Penn State. I could see a scenario where Allen Robinson maybe emerges down the stretch.
You want to know what the difference is between him and Tim Patrick?
Tell me.
Tim Patrick's 6'4", okay? Allen Robinson can't outrun his fucking anybody anymore. That's the reason why Allen Robinson's all over the place.
But same drill with Tim Patrick. You don't need them to outrun anybody. You need them to go on the field and pack in certain packages and to catch a ball.
Allen Robinson, he's fucking... Have you seen him play within the last year or two? He's fucking not even average anymore, dude. He's that bad. I don't care. I mean, they want to bring him in, put him on the practice squad. Go for it, dude.
And that's all it is.
Could never have enough bodies, dude.
It's just a practice squad.
You know how injuries are, dude. They come in waves.
Bruce, I'm struggling with the new chat. Part of it's because I don't have YouTube out right now. But I don't love it, and I can't see anything. Chris in the chat says, Uncle Sam and Zolo, miss y'all. Chris, shout out to you. Happy birthday.
Who?
Chris Sella. He's no relation to Amu Bob.
I hope not.
Dan wants to know, does Unc need those glasses because he knows he's going to get blasted for that bullshit he's talking?
I'm sorry?
And Dan wants him to bring Sam back. Buonanotte, bella gente from Sam. That means good night, beautiful men. And then,
anyway,
Dan, we're going to do predictions next week before the season starts. So probably next Friday when Sam's back, we'll do a prediction show. I do have a prediction on the Lions. We'll save it for then. Really quickly, though, I wanted to do some numbers on Tim Patrick because there's some things, some green flags that I saw that make a lot of sense to me. Warren Sharp, who does a good job of talking about the Lions, he's a analytics guy. He's got sharp analytics. He's very revered in the football community. He had some really good numbers on Tim Patrick that I want to run you through. Out of 150 wide receivers with 100-plus catches since 2020, Tim Patrick is 7 in EPA after catch. He's 8 in EPA after target. He's 9 in success rate per catch, so he comes down with the ball a lot of the time. He's 14 in lowest drop rate, and he's 21 in success rate. He has an insane 43% of incompletions. 43% of the incompletions that went to Tim Patrick were because of quarterback inaccuracy. So if you throw him an accurate ball, he's probably going to come down with it. The quarterbacks that
throw any receiver an accurate ball, they're going to come down.
I disagree. There's receivers that can't catch the ball when it's accurate, and that's part of the look at Donovan Peoples-Jones, Kadarius Toney, great example. 83 of Tim Patrick's balls came from Drew Lock over the last 4 years, 64 from Teddy Bridgewater, 9 from Brett Rippon, 6 from Jeff Driscoll, and 2 from Kendall Hinton. Don't know who that is. Only 10% of Patrick's incomplete targets were due to wide receiver error. He has the 12th lowest rate of NFL drops out of 150 receivers. I think that they may have gotten a diamond in the rough in Tim Patrick. I think he's exactly what they need.
He's 30 years old.
30? He might be 31.
He's 30 years old, injury prone. If he can come in here and catch 40 balls, God bless him.
Yeah, that's exactly what they need.
And stay
Happy
healthy.
you said that.
If he can stay healthy. You know.
Happy you said that. They've also added, like I said, Allen Robinson to the practice squad. A lot of the principles with Allen Robinson apply to Tim Patrick. Donovan Peoples-Jones, they haven't made it official yet, but people on the back end, like Adam Schefter, are reporting that Donovan Peoples-Jones has the Lions' last roster spot. He just didn't emerge. And it sucks because he's from here, U of M, Cass Tech guy. He has an 800-yard season in Cleveland, so he's capable of doing it, but they didn't do what they needed him to do.
But that was as a third receiver.
That's what he is here. He's a third or fourth receiver here.
Yeah. But, you know, when you have Amari Cooper, and you don't have Amari Cooper here, so
I just
not happening.
With Donovan Peoples-Jones, I think that I appreciate the Lions throwing him a bone and taking a flyer on him. And again, It's not official. It's not official. So he might not end up here, but I appreciate them taking a chance. And who knows? Maybe the Lions are very good at developing players. Maybe they can develop into exactly what they're looking for, which is the 6.
Maybe he should gain 30 pounds and be a tight end.
Maybe that's
hey, James Mitchell, were you surprised he was
gonna get to that next? Was gonna get to that next. The next position group is tight end. They only kept 3. A lot of people had them pegged as keeping 4, and 2 of the 4 names didn't even make it. Shane Zylstra got cut. He's on the practice squad. Right. Same with James Mitchell, got cut. He signed with the practice squad. We've seen good things from both of those guys.
Yeah.
In fact, I think if both of those guys were on the team last year, as opposed to, I can't remember who caught that one, but it might have been Zylstra. I don't know. It was someone else. But if both those guys were here last year, you know, there was a play at the.
Well, you know they love Brock Wright.
Yeah,
they love Brock Wright, and you got Laporta.
Well, going back real quick, the third name that I didn't say is the guy that they really loved, who ended up seizing a roster spot by the balls. People thought this guy would make it, but it's Parker Hesse, whatever his name is. He's going to be their hybrid tight end fullback, but he made the team. They love him. They love how he blocks. They love how he is on the backfield. So he popped one of the bubble spots for Zylstra and James Mitchell.
Yeah.
And I think we see one of, if not both, Zylstra and Mitchell as the season goes on.
I believe they wish that Mitchell came out like Laporta, and he didn't. And that's why they drafted Laporta.
But Mitchell was good when they needed him to be good. I look back at that Jets game 2 years ago. When they needed big catches out of Mitchell, he did his job. I think he slumped off as a blocker, which was a possibility. I think that's a problem.
I don't think he was much of a blocker to begin with. I think that was the issue.
More of a pass-catching tight end, but you need both. And that's the Lions. If no block, no rock.
Brock Wright is both. You catch balls, and they'll fucking run you over.
Offensive tackle. They have their 5. Decker, Sewell, Skipper. By the way, this is the first time Dan Skipper's ever made the 53-man before.
Really?
They usually call him up later. They usually practice squad him and call him up later. This is the first time he has made the 53-man out of camp.
Good for him.
It's good for Skip. I know he's revered in the locker room.
He's earned it.
Kobe Sorsdahl ended up making it. And then Giovanni Manu, who I thought, we were down, were down on him.
Make it.
He was excellent on Saturday against Pittsburgh. He was always going to make it. He's a 4th-round pick. It's a matter of the playing time. He was excellent on Saturday. He was actually their highest graded offensive player.
The first game I watched him in was that Kansas City game.
Wasn't good.
He was awful.
He wasn't good against he was worse against the Giants, too.
Yeah.
He was worse against the Giants.
He was horrible in that game.
And in fairness, that principle held for most of the second unit offensive linemen. Yeah. I thought that was the same for all of them.
What you can see with him is that he has not played against a high level of competition at all. The guy's a monster. The guy's fucking huge. But you can see the level of competition that he's played against is not good. But you know what's it's teachable. He's teachable. So I get it why they're keeping him.
I'm gonna go real quick back to the practice squad. They kept 2 practice squad offensive linemen. The first is tackle Jamarco Jones, who they had signed recently. The other is a guy that I think we're not going to see maybe this year unless there's an injury. But another guy that they loved on the second unit offensive line was center Kingsley Aguakun. Who they signed. They actually gave him a lot of money as a undrafted free agent out of the draft too. So they have plans for this guy. I wouldn't call center of the future, but this is your center depth. And I thought he was actually good in the preseason. He was the most consistent guy of the second unit offensive linemen, including another guy that was really good on Saturday against the Steelers. So those are the only 2 offensive linemen. Let me run you through who they did keep for the interior. Obviously, Ragnar Glasgow, Zeitler, Kayode Iwasika, who's been here for a couple years, and then a guy who probably seized a roster spot is Michael Neese, who they liked.
Yeah.
Christian Mahogany, the 6th-round pick, who they're very high on, had some sort of illness that kept him out of camp. He's starting the season on NFI, the not fit or inactive. Yeah. We're going to see him called up to the main roster eventually. We don't want him to get playing time. We want this offensive line to stay healthy and intact.
Right.
And it's a developmental year for Mahogany. He's probably the guard of the future. He's going to replace Zeitler, I would say, next year.
Possibly.
Moving forward, defensive tackle. This was also a small surprise. There's a name that people wanted that ended up getting left off, and then another name got injured. Broderick Martin got injured in Saturday's game against the Steelers. He's on IR, set to return, so he can't return for 4 weeks. The guy that got cut is Kyle Pecco, who is...
That kind of surprised me.
Yeah, it surprised a lot of people because a lot of people thought he was going to make the team. My guess is he might be an emergency call-up after week 1. But Kyle Pecco did not end up making the team, and Pat O'Connor and Chris Smith are also on the practice squad with him.
Pat O'Connor has been in camp the last 4 or 5 years here. Eastern Michigan guy, by the way.
Is he?
Yep.
Kyle Pecco's brother was Domata Pecco, who went to Michigan State, but Samoan bloodlines. Kyle Pecco's been in the league on and off for 10 years.
Yeah, he's been in the league quite a while.
Didn't make it, so they kept 4. And it's the 4 that we know. It's McNeil, it's Reeder, it's Onzarike, and then rookie 6th-round pick Mekhi Wingo, who kind of came on. He had a good preseason because he had a lot of snaps.
They're going to have Josh Pascal playing that 3, too. They talked about that.
They'll rotate guys on the inside, of course. If Kaminsky comes back, he'll see time there.
I don't think he'll be back this year.
D-end, it's Hutchinson, Davenport, Pascal. James Houston's roster spot was in question. He got his roster spot. I think that James Houston is not going to be in that NASCAR package that they like to do. He's going to be solely a DN. You're not going to see him. His fingers are always.
They were running him a lot at linebacker this year, and that was kind of surprising to me.
Yeah, because I think they were testing him out because they were thinking of cutting him, but I think they need the DN depth. They only have 5 DNs. Right. Kaminsky is not on IR. Kaminsky is on the team as a DN.
I thought he was on IR.
No, he's not on IR. So he made the team as DN. For DNs on the practice squad, they kept just Mitchell Agude, who actually, and Isaac Akuo. Both of those guys had great camps. Both of those guys had great preseasons. We will see them eventually. Yeah. We will see them get called up in the first.
So Matthew Betts, the Matthew Betts fucking
experiment
saga is over.
Yeah, I will get to the full list of cuts, but Matthew Betts. Well, let's just do it right now by position. So, the full list of cuts would be. Wait, where are they? Matthew Betts is gone.
You know what I noticed?
Zonovan
He's
Knight.
Smaller than the tape I watched him at
He's smaller in
Canadian.
frame. He's
Correct.
not smaller in size. He's smaller in frame.
Yeah, he's not very big. That surprised me because watching his tape from the Canadian League, he looked a lot bigger than what he is.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of fucking surprised me a little bit.
What surprised me is that they didn't add him to the practice squad. They like, and maybe that changes. Maybe a receiver's bubble burst, and he could go back to Canada, of course, and maybe he could sign somewhere else or to someone else's practice squad. But I always thought that he was a developmental guy. I thought he was brought in here to, like, I expected. I know you thought he was going to make the main roster.
Well, pass rushers, either you have it or you don't. Not a lot of shit you teach. That's natural. People have that ability naturally. Guys like J.J. Watt, his brother, you got to have that instinct. If you don't have that, you're not going to be a great pass rusher.
Smelling blood.
Well, look at Jadeveon Clowney. You think now Jadeveon Clowney's not a bust. He's been in the league, almost a decade now? Him and Khalil Mack, they both came out in the same draft. They were what, 1-2, 1-4, something like that? I mean, either you have it or you don't. Khalil Mack was always a better pass rusher than Jadeveon Clowney was. But Jadeveon Clowney has made himself a decent career. I mean, he's bounced around everywhere, but, did he live up to the hype as a number 1 overall pick? No. No, not at all.
No. And going back to T.J. Watt, Watt, who I think is better than his brother, J.J., who was very good.
No, J.J. was a lot better. The problem was J.J. Watt is back. Once he hurt that back, he was done.
J.J. never had a season like T.J. had. He came close,
What do you mean?
but T.J. broke it. T.J. broke his sack his
Yeah, but he had 3 straight seasons with 20-plus sacks on a team that was fucking dog shit.
I get it, but T.J. has done that. I'm mixing up my Watts.
Listen to
TJ's
me.
done it consistently.
J.J. should have won MVP the fucking 1 year.
I don't disagree. I just think T.J.'s better. I think T.J.'s
man.
the better Watt. And
Well,
TJ Watt,
I mean,
you gave a good comparison. Jadeveon Clowney went first overall. Trayvon Walker went first overall a couple years ago. T.J. Watt was like 30 or 31 or something like that. He was towards the end of the first round, and a lot of teams passed.
J.J. Watt was fucking like in
Back end of the first round.
No, it was I think midway through the first round.
J.J. Watt was
13th or 14th. In fact, I don't even want to talk about it because I think we had a chance
11.
to come up.
We did.
Yeah. Who did we take?
It was either
Make me throw up right now. Who did we take?
This is one of my favorite games, by the way. That year was 2011. That should be Nick Fairley.
Fucking garbage. Dude, we could have Julius Peppers. We could have had Julius Peppers at one time. You know who we took? Joey Harrington.
We couldn't have had J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt went 11 to Houston.
Oh, okay.
Nick Fairley went 13.
Okay.
But they still did pass on some good guys. Robert Quinn.
Yeah, Robert Quinn was the pick.
Cam Jordan.
He was actually the best pass rusher in that fucking class.
Cam Jordan, Cam Hayward. Anyways,
nice to reminisce.
Moving forward, so those are the DNs. Oh wait, I did the DNs, right? Yeah. I did the DNs. Linebacker, we have Anzalone, Campbell, Barnes. Malcolm Rodriguez was in question. They did keep him. Jalen Reeves, Maben. Ben Neiman, who they like and had a big camp. He ended up making the team. He was one of the surprises. And then today, a practice squad release. It's a guy that was on the team on the practice squad all year last year. He ended up leaving in December for the Cardinals, Trevor Nowaski. They signed him back today off of the Cardinals practice squad. So he's on the 53. Those are your linebackers. Let me see
I'm going to be honest with you.
I know. We all know you hate the linebackers.
None of this linebacker core does anything for me. Sorry.
Jack Campbell doesn't do anything for you?
No.
Okay.
You're going to have to show me a lot more to get my...
There are no linebackers on the practice squad.
Okay.
Then also on the practice squad, the only DB on the practice squad is safety C.J. Moore, so they're keeping most of those guys.
You said Melifonte's hurt?
Melifonte has some sort of mystery injury, but he's not starting on IR. The only DB starting on IR is Emmanuel Mosley, and he's set to return. They have him designated to return, so they think he's going to be back. Cornerback, they're keeping Carlton Davis, Terrion Arnold, Amick Robinson, Ennis Rakestraw. The two that ended up making it are Khalil Dorsey and Kendall Vildor. So Stephen Gilmore, I don't know what to call him. He got cut. As well as Shalene Garnes, Rashad Wildgoose, so they just signed A linebacker that got cut, by the way, is Abraham Beauplan, he got a lot of reps. Yeah, those are your corners. And then for safeties, Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, Ife Melifonwu, Brandon Joseph, who I thought had an excellent.
Yeah, he had a nice preseason.
I'm with you. And then they kept a guy, an undrafted free agent, Loren Strickland, a great story. He had a monster camp, great preseason. He was working at Target not long ago, a little less than a year ago.
Did he make the?
He did, out of Ball State. He was a UDFA, and I thought he had a really good preseason, so I'm happy they kept him. He was one of the 3 or 4 surprises. There's one last surprise. It goes without saying that Jake Bates is going to be your kicker. There was one of the biggest battles, and you don't see it, but one of the biggest battles throughout camp was long snapper. And they were between Hogan Hatton and then Scott Daly, who has been here for 2 years. They ended up cutting Scott Daly, surprisingly, and they kept Hogan Hatton, which a lot of people were 50-50 on. It was going to happen. Scott Daly ended up getting the long snapper job in Chicago. Another guy that was signed to another team is linebacker Ty Summers, who I think the Lions wanted to sign to the practice squad. He ended up signing with the Giants practice squad. So that's who won the long snapper battle, Hogan Hatton. Someone brought up how good he is in punt coverage and said it's not the actual snapping itself, because we could do that. We could long snap. It's how you play afterward. Like they're long snappers end up playing like linebackers afterward. Like they got to get downfield and they have to either block or they have to make tackles. And Hogan Hatton was better downfield. He was better in punt coverage, which is why they kept him.
Makes sense. That's why you had these position battles.
Yeah.
That's exactly why.
Is there anything that stands out to you? Any surprises now that you know the cuts, now that you know the practice squad? Anything you want to talk about? I know we talked at nauseum about Tim Patrick and the other guys. Anything that stands out to you?
I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't surprised that Sudfeld is gone.
Mm-hmm.
What surprised me is that I feel that Fromm would be better as a backup right now than Hooker. That's just my opinion, because he's played a lot of football.
You think Fromm is better as a backup than Hooker?
As of right now, yes.
I think the tiebreaker goes from the fact that Hooker has been in this Ben Johnson, Dan Campbell system, and Mark Brunell. He spent all his time with those people, that his grasp might be a little better. And then in terms of a safety valve, like, of course, it's devastating if something happens to Goff. I think what Hooker provides is we know he has an arm. We know he can get the ball downfield. The decision-making can be taught. It's his legs. His legs cannot be taught. And the decision-making with the legs can be taught. When to run, when to lower the shoulder, which you should never do, when to go out of bounds. I think what Hooker provides with his legs is the deal breaker. I think that's what sets him apart.
He just needs to screw his fucking head on straight and try not to run linebackers over like I seen him do in the few games that he played.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
No.
I don't.
You're not 6'5" and 250. You don't want to do that. Even if you're 6'5" and 250, you don't want to do that. Ask Anthony Richardson what it was like to sit out fucking after week 5 on.
Okay, I want to end with this. There was a tweet, Dave Lombardi, who covers the 49ers for The Athletic. Athletics my go-to for any sports information, by the way, in case anyone wants to know where I get all this knowledge from. He had a really good tweet 15 minutes ago. He said, here are the stakes. And then I will give you the update on what ended up happening. He said, here are the stakes. If Ayuk is participating in practice, the holding is over. He's in line to play on the 5th-year option, and negotiations on a long-term deal can simultaneously continue, and everything's all hunky-dory. If Ayuk is not at practice, is not participating in practice, I should say, because I think he is there, the status quo remains but the 49ers now rhetorically dug into their leverage. Ayuk is under contract and expected to practice. And he said, we're heading out to the field now. What do you think happened? Do you think he showed up for practice, or do you think he didn't show up for practice?
I have no idea.
Gun to your head. Pick one. 50-50.
He showed up.
Bruce, is he practicing or no?
No.
Brandon Ayuk did not show up at practice.
Does he want to be traded again?
I think he ends up getting traded.
I don't know, dude.
They're the ones that signed Terrace Marshall, by the way, 6'4" Terrace Marshall. So it fits the bill that they're prepping to lose a big body receiver by signing a big body receiver to their practice squad. This is just such a fun saga. I'm happy. Again, it makes the 49ers look like shit, so I love it. It's embarrassing.
How many years does he have left, too?
He's on the last year of his deal.
Oh,
he's going into his year. He is a first rounder, so it would be his fifth year.
This is his fifth. They accepted the 5th-year option on.
Well, if he plays, they'd be picking up the 5th-year option.
Right.
Okay, I'm back off of the he's going to show up bandwagon. I just genuinely think he's not going to show up.
Well, let's see what happens.
Who am I, though, at the end of the day, right?
Listen, all these guys, you don't know what none of them are going to do until it happens.
No.
You know, and that's basically it in a nutshell. So you don't know whether they're going to show up or they're not going to show up. Him being in his last year, I get it. He wants some kind of security, and I fucking understand that. And he's wanting to get paid top dollar. And that goes for any player. And I agree with you try to get as much shit as you can get. But there comes a point where you have to make a decision, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent. You need to make that decision to make it go forward. Because if you don't, and you do the Le'Veon Bell and you miss an entire fucking year, not only are you hurting yourself, but you're hurting the fucking team. So who wins on that? Who wins on that kind of situation? I don't think nobody does.
That's why I love it. Because it's embarrassing for them that they've mishandled this so poorly.
Well, I don't think they've mishandled it that poorly. I
do,
mean,
because
they've offered him contracts.
They could have. I disagree. I think they mishandled this because they could have traded him a long time ago. And what happens, similar to your theory on Jamar Chase, where his price goes up as this continues to drag.
Correct.
I think that Brandon Ayuk's trade value, as this continues, they're losing their leverage. So I think that Brandon Ayuk's trade value just goes down. Because now it's just they're thinking, oh, they're pathetic. Like people offered a first, like the Steelers, for example. The Steelers offered a first during the draft for Brandon Ayuk. They offered a first-round pick. And the Steelers said, no, we're going to figure this out. We're going to keep him. Okay? That deal supposedly is not a first. The deal that they have in place right now is no longer a first.
Right.
So they already tanked his trade value by thinking, oh, we're going to get him. We're going to make it happen. And it hasn't worked out. So I think it's embarrassing from that standpoint. I think that the fact that they haven't gotten anything done just hurts how a really well-run organization is handling something.
Kind of surprised on that. Well,
Yeah.
you know what? It could be the Adamakin Zoo.
Did he hold out?
You remember when he fucking bolted?
I remember when he bolted.
They argued over $2 million fucking dollars, and he wound up leaving
with the Dolphins
because they didn't want to give him the $2 million.
Yeah, I also think he didn't want to be here either. I think that was part of it.
I mean, that's what everybody kept saying. I don't buy that. I think it was all about money. Zoo is the perfect, the prototypical pay for fucking. He was like a mercenary, dude. Pay for play.
He was a mercenary.
That's right. That's what he was.
You paid him to kill the enemy.
Here's the bad thing. The Lions let the face of their team leave. The bad boy, the big guy. People feared him. And they had him. And you let him leave over $2 million. Are you fucking serious, dude? Are you serious? Do you think that the fucking San Francisco 49ers are going to let Nick Bosa leave because they're going to argue over $2 million?
Go into?
Who gives a fuck?
Saved.
Who gives a fuck what it
just
went?
Garbage is what I'm.
I mean, you understand what I'm saying? You have the guy that's the face of your team, and you let him go. That's like letting Max Crosby go off the fucking Raiders defensive line, and you're going to argue over $2 million, and he's going to be like, well, fuck it then. I'll just ride it out, and I'm a free agent. Goodbye. You know? That's the bad thing. They should have traded. If they thought they weren't going to be able to sign him, they should have fucking traded him the year before.
Bruce?
But no. Guess what? They got a big fucking donut for him. He left here and gave him a big donut with a hot dog in the middle of it and said, here you go.
What are your thoughts, Bruce?
I agree with everything you just said. My dad had been saying that when it was going on, and I disagreed with him at that time because I was a little kid and I didn't.
Well,
everybody as a little kid, you're like, he doesn't care about the money, But then you grow
he
older,
don't want to
and
be
you got
here.
everything's
He
about
don't want to
money,
be
so.
here as an excuse for not wanting to pay him. That's what that was. Because I believe he would have stayed. He wanted to be the top paid defensive lineman in the fucking league, and he was when he was drafted. I believe that they didn't put that rookie cap in yet. No, it was him, Calvin Johnson, and Stafford.
That was their Micah Parsons, Dak, and CeeDee Lamb. It was a similar situation, and I just remember in real time. This was what 2014, I believe, 2015.
Yeah.
I remember thinking to myself, someone brought up the point. They go, "You're probably not going to sign all three. You probably can't sign all three. So who are the two that you pick?" And I don't know. I think the Lions picked properly because after Sue left, they still went to the playoffs with Kelvin and Stafford. But
after Zoo left, they were never the same team.
They're better now.
Now they are. How many years later?
It sucks when
How
guys
many
walk.
fucking years later?
It sucks when guys walk and you don't get comp for them, and that's what happened with the Sue situation. And yeah,
That's exactly what happened. This is what we're talking about. I mean, this is the point. Ayuk, what are you going to do with the guy? You going to argue with him over a few $1 million, dude? Either you fucking sign the guy or ship him out. Because all they're doing now is fucking him around.
Ayuk.
Yeah, they're fucking him around.
That's what I'm reading. I'm reading another tweet right now that said they're going to discipline him. If discipline would ensue, Shanahan and Lynch
discipline him.
They only address it if it happens.
Yeah, discipline him. Yeah, why don't you just sit him the whole year and he'll be a free agent?
My guess is this is so bungled, and this, like, I'm just looking at the firestorm on Twitter right now. My guess is that this is going to be enough to force a trade to Pittsburgh. That's my guess.
Okay.
That's
So if Pittsburgh winds up getting Ayuk, they got a pretty nice little fucking repertoire going over there for Wilson.
But no fucking quarterbacks to throw to him.
Well, I mean, you got Wilson. Russell Wilson can still throw the football, dude. Russell Wilson didn't have a bad year last year. Everybody just thinks about that year he spent with Nathaniel Hackett, who's got to be the worst fucking head coach beside Rod Marinelli and fucking pro football history.
I'm still on the Russ train.
Huh?
I'm still on the Russ train.
I got to see it.
I think he's.
I think Russell Wilson can still throw the football, and I think he'll be serviceable there. If he can turn around, just hand off the ball and get into a fucking nice little rhythm, dude. You know who's going to be the beneficiary of Russell Wilson being in fucking Pittsburgh is Freiermuth, because Russ loves his tight ends, dude. He loves his tight ends.
Jimmy Graham, Noah Fant.
He likes those small dudes too, though.
Who am I missing?
No, he loves those tight ends, dude.
What were the tight ends that he had? And I'm missing some right now.
He had a bunch of them, dude. Will Dissy.
Oh, Will Disley, yeah, that's a good one. Do you guys have anything to add? What's everyone doing for Labor Day weekend? We had a holiday weekend coming up. Bruce? What are your plans? Gonna go to the fucking Bruce Post?
I know what Bruce's plans are. You want to know what they're going to be?
I'm gonna golf.
Where?
Do nothing.
Chandler?
No, see, he couldn't do
we're-
Friday because he has a fun date on Friday.
What's a fun date?
I'm just going out to dinner with all my friends.
And where are you going? Shores Inn?
I have no idea yet. It's Wednesday, so we have no idea. My group doesn't plan things till day of.
How's Suey doing?
Suey's fantastic.
Tell him I said hi.
I will.
What do you got planned this weekend? You grilling any meats? You got any plans Monday? Anything?
No,
Nothing?
nothing.
Got college football this
I still
weekend.
can't fucking eat yet, so.
Got real good college football this weekend, actually. It's a good opening slate of games. Georgia and Clemson.
Well, one good thing about it today, I got on the fucking scale today. I was 237.
That's pretty good.
I've lost.
Scale at work.
Yeah, I've lost. I've lost 11 pounds.
Is that because of your mouth?
Yes, 11 pounds.
That's because water's been
Getting
coming
into
out of
shape.
your ass
I'm getting into
fast.
shape. And I'm gonna start whooping ass again.
You should come play pickle with me. You'll lose
I
another
don't play
10.
pickle. I have my own game of pickle that I play, and I don't know if you're gonna like that.
Why not play
Because
both?
you'll be the pickle-y.
No, that's him. He's the pickle-y over there. He's the pickler.
Nah.
Well,
What is that? Somebody's loving something over there.
It's the default. It's just what you see when Bruce can like it. That's all.
Anyway.
It's not anyone actually loving anything,
Yeah.
but they do like us. I think that people like us. We'd appreciate if you ring the bell and follow us, like and subscribe on YouTube. You can find us everywhere, all social platforms, at Tipped Balls on X, at Tipped Balls on Instagram, at Tipped Balls on YouTube. We're not on Reddit. We should get our own Reddit thread. Brendan, if you're still tuned in, you should say something to Sam. Get a Reddit thread. You can find me at InstaZolo on Instagram, and it's Mr. Zolo on Twitter.
What are you doing?
Shut up, asshole.
What else?
way
Did I
too
miss anything?
close.
Sam, if you're watching,
Way
I'm sorry
too
if I missed
close.
something.
No.
I don't know.
He's no more closer than fucking
What about
I
this?
am. No.
Better?
That is not true.
The camera needs to pan a little bit up.
Look at your camera and look at Zolo's.
Better?
Lolook at your
Bad.
camera.
We'll have to play with it another time.
Your camera is to the front of your desk.
Yeah.
Zolo's camera is not.
What does that mean? We look about the same right there.
No, we have to. Well, we have to reevaluate the shots going into the season so we can
Okay.
get our best looks. But anyways, hope everyone has a good holiday weekend. Stay safe. We will see you at a minimum next Wednesday, probably with the preview of the Thursday and Friday games. That's probably where we're gonna go. Sam should be back. I think Sam will be back next Wednesday.
Can you stop touching it?
We're ready to go.
Please.
This thing is here. This thing is here. We have college football this weekend. We have pro football next week. The time has come. 'Tis the season. Happy holidays. We'll see you next week. God bless.
Happy Bar